film we made almost 10 years ago was a film that we made, Louise and I, and we worked together. We made this film because we were talking about what kind of images we always have about architecture. So in a sense, what kind of representation is given by about the architecture. And we were talking, try to understand why, in the sense, we always see picture and films that doesn't have a relation with the reality of what architecture is in general, and about also the emotion that architecture is can give you, but you don't see this normally in the representation. Normally in the representation you see just promotion about a building, because I think this kind of images are produced by in a way, from the owners or from the magazine or from the architects that made the building. So the message is often the same. This building is fantastic, this project is beautiful, and everything is fine, and everything is great. That you create, that is it has a relation with the real life. It is something that this is design in a way. So the people that design a building or other things, they think just about the object. But this is crazy, because I've studied in architecture. You spend a lot of time during your school, your architecture studies, to think about how the people could use this place that you are going to make. But at the end, when the building is finished, the only image that you see is the empty space, like you say, empty space, beautiful light, everything prepared, and everything is beautiful. So we just wanted to add a new kind of representation to all of this. And the first film was just a kind of experimentation for us. Just say, okay, let's make a little list of things that we would like to see in a film related about space, about how people live in a space. And so we need to put inside this film this kind of things. So it was at the beginning was we want to see people, because why we never see people inside. You can see people in the architectural representation, but they are always like silhouette, like shadows. They don't. So we said we want to talk with the people that stay inside. And another thing was we want to see the dirtiness, because and the chaos that you have normally in the space. So we want to see what is happening in architecture with the real life. So everything, dressed there, everything, a lot of objects everywhere. As we had this great opportunity to make this film in this house by Rem Koolhaas, we knew that inside that there was this fantastic woman that is Guadalupe Acedo, that is. She was the housekeeper, so she was spending all the time cleaning this house, and so we thought that it was maybe a good idea to follow her, just to avoid the voice of the owner, of the architect, of this kind of elite of people that they use normally. They speak about architecture, and so we stayed with her for 2 weeks, spend the time with her, just following her. We thought that the movement inside, in this case in the house, but in architecture, is very important to understand how the architecture is working. So we just followed her. And another thing that was very important for us, that is still important for all the films we made after that, is that we didn't want to create a a sort of film like normally see is that at the end of the film you have understood everything about the architecture. So you know where you go inside, you know where you go out, you know how this is working. So you normally, even in a book, you understand everything. You have plans, you have all the information to understand very well the building. So you don't need to go there because say, okay, fantastic. And there's a lot of film in France at this time that that was produced by Arte. This is a television that they were made like this. So everything, the absolute view of the architecture. So we wanted to create something completely unbalanced. So to create a film that at the end of the film you're completely you don't know how the building is working, so you just have an experience of this space, but you didn't understand very well. So maybe you have you want to go there to visit, maybe, or in a sense, we just wanted to cut the image in a little fragments to make disorder in these fragments. You don't see the whole image. You just watch little fragments. So you have to recreate yourself in your mind the image of the house, but also the space. So you have so we cut the film in 25 little chapters, fragments, and cutting in this way the film, it creates a sort of new space in a way out of the film. So if you watch, I think that if you watch this film, you are able, or you are obliged, more than able, you are obliged to recreate the space yourself.
Je ne peux pas, personne ne me l'a expliqué, je ne peux pas expliquer. C'est pas vous dire la porte, c'est moi que...
Qu'est-ce qu'on vous a pas expliqué?
Eh bien, la maison, hein, là, je ne sais pas, la maison, voilà, elle est pendue. Ah non, il n'y a pas de mur, je ne sais pas comment ça tient, c'est vraiment, je ne sais pas. Ça, c'est, faut demander à l'architecte. Et même si l'architecte me l'explique, comme je ne me suis pas élevée dans ce monde, j'aurais que vous l'expliquer à l'envers, et puis après ça...
We are very interested in little details, or little spaces where you normally don't watch. And because it's like this window, if I show you the window, everything is there, you look at, but there's a lot of things that out of the window. But if I show you just in my film, this window, you just see this and you think that everything is there. But if I just take some meters behind, I show you everything. You see, you know that there's other things. So we wanted to make this, just cutting the film in more fragments, and we still do this. We don't want to create a block, a film like a unique block that is from the beginning at the end. We explain you. We don't have things to explain. We don't have idea through. We don't have a truth to explain. This came from for me, Louise, also for her. I think this is coming from my studies in architecture, where I was really not happy with. I was listening to conferences by architects. They came at the university in Venice, and they just explain to all of us, all little students, asking what is the truth, and they say you have to do this, you have to do this. I made this like this, I made this like this. So all the architects were lecturing or making conference in the school. They were all genius, all genius. And so you are a little student that they say, may I have a genius one day like you? So this was something that didn't like for the beginning. So I don't like this kind of representation that say the truth. And so we wanted just to propose another way to talk about the architecture. And the freedom of speech, it was very important, because for the maybe first time we gave the voice to someone that know very well the space, the architecture, the house, but she knows in a sense that she knows very well how it works, the space works, because she has to clean. She lived this space every day. She was inside every day, so she knew everything about this place. But she hasn't the culture of the experience of the architecture, history, everything. So her way of speaking, and we know we wanted this. We wanted to talk about this, how to feel an emotion about from a space. It's sure that if you give the voice to an expert to explain how it works, this building, you understand everything. But this already exists. You can find everything about this house. There's a lot of beautiful pictures. There's a lot of everything has been done about this. But for us, it was important. It was very important to create, for the first time, a sort of liberation about the emotion of the space. And the emotional space became, with the other film, at the top of this list, because now we are very interested about this. How an architecture, now we are walking about big spaces like the cities, but it's the same. How a space can create, can change your behavior in a sense, also can change your life, but how the space can also give you emotion. When you enter in a place, there's some places that it's not a beautiful view, it's not just a light, it's a sort of things, it's a sort of proportion also. There's a lot of things that some architects know very well how to control or how to create with this sort of ingredients, but they create some places where you feel very, very, in fact, not good, but you feel some very strong emotion inside. It's something very interesting for us. As you know, because you know this film and the other film, it's very important for us to follow childs, but not only childs, also animals, and also to observe plants, how the plants grow in buildings. So everything that is not out of control in a sense of culture. If you know a lot of things about architecture, you have a sort of filter, unconscious filter, that you just watch this, but the kids, they don't know this, so they just fill the space. And in this case, in this fragment, in this chapter, it was fantastic to see how the kids go freely everywhere, and they use the building, and you understand very, very well how the building is working, no? If the building is okay or not, and how they feel. And the point of view of kids, it's completely. If I remember some places in my childhood, I went some 20 years later in the place. It's not the same. It's completely different. We forget this always, but the kids, they see things completely different. We are looking for all this kind of way of looking and experiencing the architecture that is completely. There's something that you normally don't see. And why we want to do this? Because we think that in a sense we need to be more free of speech, free of thinking, free of feeling about the space, and we need also a sort of culture about space. We need to teach to the children, to the kids at school, what is architecture, what is the space, before anything, what is an emotion related to a space, what is the emotion you can have related to your bedroom. If you are a kid, we try with our daughter, and we try to tell them this is your space. You have. Are you good? Do you stay? Is it good for you here, or what you want to change? Do you want to sleep in 2 meters of light, or what? It's something that maybe if a kid understand that his place, this bedroom, he can change this bedroom to be better, to feel better. Maybe one day he just go out of the bedroom and change the salon, the living room. He start to change the living room, maybe a little bit more, and after that he goes out. He just try to change a little bit more outside. And maybe like this we can change also our city, because we don't think our city has the best way to live together. If we are making a new project now, that is called Homo Urbanus. We are filming the streets in a lot of cities around the world, and we could plan, we could create a better city before. We are now stuck in some city that is not the best way to live in together. There's another way to live in the city. It's not so good. Making this film, we understand that a lot of cities are renovating their architecture, and all the architecture became always the same all around the world. There's no identity. There's a loss of identity. So the city has become the same city. You could, if you are in Gangnam, in Seoul, you can think that you are in Los Angeles or other city that's always the same. So this is, I think that we need to think about this kind of things. Maybe, I don't know if it's possible, maybe if we teach these things to kids, one day we can change a little bit. But this is our hope. I don't know. But we continue to make film because for us it's fun. But so we put a lot of humor in the film. But in the sense that was the beginning, and it still is now. There's a way to talk in architectural film, a field that you have to understand and to say things very seriously. Because I understand, because behind there's a lot of money, that someone that's putting money, so there's a lot of interest about this. But we don't belong to this kind of field, so we could be a little bit more free, and so I think we need a lot of humor in this kind of representation. So we wanted to use film music, but like a character, like a new character, so like a image, and between image and music, the film and music, there's a new relation that creates something else. We said, wow, we are going maybe too far, because we made a film about noise music and architecture. Oof, I don't know if this could work, but because noise music, because Moriyama-San, the owner of the house by the Ryo Nishizawa in Tokyo, he's a lover. He loves noise music. So we also met thanks to this kind of music, because I love too. But putting this music, beautiful, fantastic music, I say, wow, maybe people don't like this, and maybe they go around, they go away, they go out. But at the end, it's the beginning of the film is quite strange, I think, but you feel that there's something interesting because this man is this lovely man is an incredible man, and he has an incredible life in this place. This is a very strange place. Also, it's a beautiful house, completely split into 10 white cubes. And just to say the most important things that he sleeps. His bedroom is just one of these cubes, and the bathroom is another cube that is 5 meters away from the bedroom. And in the bedroom, he sleeps on the floor without anything. So it's quite a different man, very interesting man. And so, looking how he lives, and at the end, I think at the end of the film, when we made some screening about this film, at the end there's always silence. All the audience is silent, just like thinking about, wow, what kind of life he has. Is it like this? Yeah. Is this? Oh, wow, there's a way I could live completely differently. There's some people that live completely in another way like me. I have to reconsider my life. I have to think about how I'm living. There's something. There's some people that say yes, but he has a very is a sort of luxurious life because he has a very known, very famous house and things like this. In a way, yes, but you can live also with another house in the same way as he lives. It's not this. I think it's a kind of mentality that's completely different. It's not thanks to the house. It's thanks to the mentality he has. You can have another one that is living there. It's not the same life. He has completely is the man that is interesting, and this is interesting is the relation between the man and the house. This house is like the house of a snail, you know. It's so important between them, and this we were so happy to make this film because we were looking for a long time for this. We were looking for to understand. To find someone that has a really strong relationship with the space where he's living in, and he's like this. He's incredible. He couldn't live outside in another place because this is his place, and he knows very well. Just for an example. He reads a lot of books. He's someone that listens to a lot of music and watch. He has an incredible culture about films, of all films of all the country in the world. But he reads a lot of books during the day, and I was there during the summer. It was very hot, and he was I stayed with him for a week, and he was reading a lot of different books. And every time I saw him in a place and another place in the house. So he changed the place every time, and I noticed that every time it was a different book. It wasn't the same book. So I just asked him in a difficult way to communicate because he doesn't speak very well English and I don't speak Japanese, so we try to understand to communicate. I just asked what are you doing in all these different places? He told me that he chose a place in the house related to the book he's reading. So he just tried to understand the emotion of the book and relate to the emotion of the book with the emotion of the place he chose in the house. So there's a scene in the film when he touched just the trees just outside the window like this. He say, you see the trees, the sky, the wind. It's something poetical. It's extremely poetical relationship with the space. And is what we are all trying to show in the film. Is what we are interested in this, to show even in the film that we are making about the cities, to underline the little moment, poetical moment that you have everywhere. You have everywhere, always little poetical moment. We just to collect this moment to create a filmic collection of poetical moment, just to understand how to make an observation that you normally can't do it because you have a lot of things to do. You can't stay for half an hour just looking at the sea because you have to go to school, to the work. So we take time to observe. And we are even in the city, and we understand a lot about the behavior of human being with the space, with the space we created for ourselves. In a sense, we are interested in everything is out of control. Not only in architecture, but in a very wider sense. Everything is not controlled. Everything is going out of control. We are fascinated by this. We work a lot about. We started with a film about a cleaning lady. So the cleaning is very important for us because it's a symbol of control. Cleaning is controlling. When you clean, you say you control. You want to control. You are fighting against the death. You clean. You say, I don't want to die. And we spend a lot of time, we human beings, to clean. We clean every day. In Japan, it's crazy how they clean all the time. They clean, and we clean. We have a lot. When you have a building, when you think about a new building, you have to think about people that are cleaning the building. It goes together. It goes together. You know, watching people cleaning is watching how this fight, we have to fight to be. This is something that we try to control, but at the end we just lose the control. That's the way life is. We lose control, and so. Every failure for us is very interesting because the failure is a sort of door to go inside to find everything inside. Everything you don't show. We all say that we are working on the behind the image. So you have an image, but you have a lot of things that are behind the image. But they put always they put house in front of this image. Everybody try to put house in front of the image. But in this image, there's some failures. And if you find a failure, maybe you can go inside. And when you go inside, you find some beautiful things, even beautiful than the image itself. We try to create perfect buildings. We try to create monuments that stay, they live for the eternity. No, we try to. Humanity has created the pyramids, and all the Great Wall in China. There's something that is. Using stones because we want to give traces about the eternity, or what we want to, because we know we are gonna die. No, we know that soon we will not be here. So let's try to build something that will be here more than us. And so
it's like cleaning, actually.
It's like cleaning.
It's like cleaning.
It's similar. It's like cleaning. Cleaning is a fantastic symbol. You can understand a lot of things about architecture with cleaning.